Welcome back, everyone. I'm Zell, and today we're talking about the Kershaw Cryo 2 Blackwash Tanto. It's a Rick Hinderer design. It's a rather large knife for EDC, but it's well designed and you might like it. Let's get a closer look. What do you say? Let's take a trip around the Kershaw Cryo 2 Tanto Blackwash. First, guys, it has what Kershaw calls a deep carry pocket clip. On this end of the knife, when you're carrying tip up, I'm not sure it's all that deep, but that's what they call it. However, the nice thing about this knife is that pocket clip can be put here. There are 2 holes drilled and tapped on the other end for tip down carry, and on the other side of the knife there is a mirroring set of holes, so you can carry this knife tip up, tip down, blade forward or blade back in either pocket. Whether you're left or right handed, it's going to accommodate you. Now, this is a Rick Hinderer design, so we have the frame lock stabilizer, which this knife is a frame lock, as you can see here. We have a lanyard hole, and also all of the Torx head screws on both sides of the knife are exposed and easy to get to. There's nothing hidden behind a pocket clip or a piece of G10 or anything of that sort, which is rather nice. The knife, like most Kershaws, has the speed safe opening system. This system incorporates this little nib back here called a flipper that allows you to press it down. Once you break over the spring tension, another torsion bar takes over and opens the knife. It works well right-handed, as you saw, and works just fine left-handed. And as you can see right there where that flipper touched my thumb, that's one of the nicest things about the Kershaw knives. Whenever you go to open that frame lock with either thumb, left or right, that flipper comes down and touches your thumb, letting you know it's time to get your thumb out of the way before you go ahead and close the knife. Now, as we move on around the knife, on the back side here, we have some jimping. It's not terribly aggressive, it does look nice, but it works. Of the knives I've had in my hands over the past few weeks, it's probably some of the best. Also, the knife is full flow through, which will help keep down with lint and all the other little nasties that might get in the middle of your knife. Got nice little stanchions there. As we roll the knife on around, you can see the Rick Hinderer stabilizer there. And we have a little bit of jimping right across here. I don't know that jimping really does all that much. I haven't really noticed. And we also have the frame lock. And something I would like to point out, if I can, there we go. If you can see there on the Kershaw knife, this piece of the frame is slightly lower than the other side of the frame that has the frame lock on it. This means whenever you go to unlock the knife, you have something to get a hold of. It makes closing that knife much easier. And we'll open it again and we'll go through some measurements. From end to end, this knife is 7 3/4 of an inch long when it's opened. The blade overall length is 3.3 inches. The edge is approximately 3.2 inches. The blade thickness, which I measured at the flat right up here to find out what the stock thickness was that they used to make the blade, is 0.12. And the blade does have multiple grinds, which look really neat. blade stays very thick all the way down to very near the tip, which means it should be a nice strong blade if you need to do any thrusting or prying or anything of that nature. Continuing with the measurements, I got 0.39 for thickness, so that means it's a pretty thin knife for its size. And I also got a weight of 5.7 ounces. Now that number is about 0.2 ounces heavier than what Kershaw states, but as always, the numbers are off of my measuring equipment, not theirs. Something to be aware of on the Cryo 2 Tanto is the blade shape. We have a fairly standard Tanto edge here, but whenever we get back to where the Tanto edge is usually flat or slightly bellied on most knives, this one is concave. If you're going to purchase this knife, it's probably a good idea to be aware of that and make that one of your purchase considerations. I'll talk about that more here in just a minute. Alright guys, to sum up my thoughts on the Cryo 2 Tanto Blackwash, this is probably one of the best looking knives that Kershaw makes, in my opinion. The handle, the blade shape, it's just a thing of beauty. The Blackwash finish is excellent. You don't have to worry too much about scratching the knife or using it, because the Blackwash finish will just, for the most part, take whatever you do to the knife and just make it part of the finish. It doesn't stand out or show. The only thing that really does bother me about this knife is the blade shape when in use. That concave or recurve on what is normally the straight edge on a Tanto, sometimes has a little bit of a belly to it, definitely takes away from the everyday usability of this blade. In fact, I carried this thing for probably 2 or 3 months, and then I ran into some issues. Various things where I needed to cut something flat or needed to scrape or trim, and I couldn't. I would have to use the very end here, and it just wasn't a pleasant experience. So for the past several months, this knife has been sitting in a knife drawer. So if you're considering this blade, they do have a more of a drop point blade shape in the same model of knife. And if I were getting this knife for everyday carry, that's the one I would get. As for me, I'm kind of stuck with this one. However, I think I may reshape this blade some. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, but if I do reshape it, I'll definitely let you see the result, and might even let you get in on part of the reshaping. So that's about it, guys. The Rick Hinderer designs, Cryo 2, they are some beautiful knives, and I'm pretty happy to own one, although, like I said, I may have to reshape the blade some. Guys, I really appreciate you stopping by, and you know, if you'd click one of those buttons down there, like, subscribe, share this around some, I'd really appreciate it. And you all have a great day, and I'll see you next time.